Hello. Today I am going to talk about a couple of common challenges I see people having and how you can fix them. So I have a sample story here. This is something that I have written to demonstrate this problem. And if you look at it, what do you notice first? What are the challenges that I have demonstrated here? What are the problems? One of the things you might notice is that this is all one big wall of text. There are no paragraph breaks, and that makes it a lot harder to read. So what I want to do is go through and talk about where we can have paragraph breaks here. So I'm going to read it, and I'm going to enter some paragraph breaks along the way. The stranger was standing by the lake. He had cast his fishing line into the water, but his countenance was pure boredom and disinterest. So for those of you who don't know, countenance means like facial expression. His eyes stared off into the distance. I doubted he would notice if a fish nibbled at his bait. He certainly didn't seem to notice me as I approached. So as we're reading this, you might notice that I have I wrong. Common mistake I've seen people make. I, when it is a word by itself, always needs to be capitalized. So I have this problem throughout the text. So instead of going through and editing it one at a time, I'm going to open up the Find and Replace feature. And I'm going to put I there. Now you'll note that I put spaces on either side. And this is because if I just put I, it's going to highlight every time I have the letter I in my story. And I don't want that. I just want to find when I is a separate thing, totally on its own. Okay, and I'm going to tell it to replace it with capital I. I'm going to say match case here. And note that when I put the capital I put the spaces there too, because if I am finding the I with spaces around it and replacing that, I need to make sure there's spaces in my replacement. So I'm going to do the first one manually to check that it worked out nice, and then I'm going to press replace all. And that is going to fix my problem throughout my story. Okay, now we go back to the text. He didn't notice me as I approached. Any luck today, I asked? Now, right here, we need a paragraph enter, a paragraph break. And we need that for two reasons. One is that we've got a change of topic. The beginning paragraph is looking at a person standing there by the lake. It's focused on that person. And any luck today, I asked, is focused on the speaker. Yes, they're speaking to that stranger, but the attention is on that speaker. So it has to be separate. But the other reason is because this is dialogue. And when you do dialogue, you should have every person's speech in its own paragraph. So, any luck today, I asked? Enter. No luck, he replied. There never is. Okay. Enter there. So why do you fish, I asked. So enter again. Now you'll notice that these are one-line paragraphs. That is okay. You can have one-line paragraphs, particularly in dialogue. It makes it easy to read the dialogue. He shrugged. That is what I do. You must catch fish sometimes, I persisted. Never, he replied. The lake is cursed. That caught my attention. Cursed? How could a lake be cursed? Why would it be cursed? I waited for him to tell me more, but the man had gone back to staring in the distance. Go on, I prompted. What is there to tell? Okay. I prompted. See, without the paragraphs, I can't tell at first whether go on, I prompted, what is there to tell, is what the speaker, I, said. It could be like this. Go on, I prompted. What is there to tell? But with the paragraphs, I can see what is there to tell is what the man said. And right here, I need to take away that capital. The man said is part of the same sentence. It's what's called a dialogue tag, and it's attached to the what is there to tell. Tell me why the lake is cursed. Again, if we don't have paragraph breaks, then tell me why the lake is cursed might belong to the man. That might be what the man says. But with paragraph breaks, we can see that this is somebody else speaking. The witch did it. The witch that lives at the bottom of the lake has cursed us all. Okay, we've got a switch of speakers. Add a new paragraph. Why? What did you do? The man's voice broke from its monotonous sound and slid into a whine. Do? We didn't do anything. Why should we do anything? Did you try to get her to break the curse? I asked. Okay, and now I have an extra quote mark there. That quote mark does not really belong to anything because nobody is saying the man shook his head. That's a narration. The man shook his head looking startled. Apparently the idea of breaking the curse had never occurred to him. Okay, so this is breaking up a wall of text. It is a lot easier to read if we have paragraph breaks. Now, in this example, most of the paragraph breaks are related to dialogue, but it doesn't have to be. You can have paragraphs breaks when you're not doing dialogue. You can have lots of them. Look for when you change your topic, even slightly. Consider putting in a paragraph break there. Look for if you want to emphasize something, you want to bring attention to it, you might want to have that line as the start of a paragraph or the end of a paragraph. The start and end of a paragraph is going to get more attention than what is squeezed into the middle of a paragraph. Overall, though, I've been very impressed with the quality of writing that people have been sending me. I'm very happy to read your stories. You have a lot of interesting ideas. And sometimes people wonder, why should I worry about punctuation or paragraphs if what I want is to share those interesting ideas? And there is an extent to which you don't need to worry about the punctuation, the paragraphs, and the spelling. It is important to get those ideas out, even if you're struggling with the other aspects of writing. On the other hand, getting the punctuation, the spelling, the paragraphs right helps make it easier for people to read your stories. It helps make people interested in your story. So you need both things. You need the good story, the creativity that you guys are all sharing and showing. And you also need to work a little bit on the craft, the art of writing. So we're going to try to do both of that in this class. Now, please don't be discouraged if I send you a whole bunch of comments or a whole bunch of corrections. I don't judge. If I put in 10, 20 different little marks pointing out where there's little mistakes that can be corrected, that doesn't mean that your story is bad. It doesn't mean that you're a bad writer. It just means there's lots of little things that can be fixed. And when I write things and I share it with other writers to get their feedback and their corrections, I end up getting tons of comments on mine, little details that could be fixed, that I need to fix. It's something that continues. And as a writer, you have to develop a little bit of a thick skin. And you have to kind of accept that the little mistakes you make aren't a reflection on you. They don't mean that you're bad or anything like that. They're just little mistakes. and little mistakes can be fixed easily. So if you get responses with a bunch of little mistakes, just go through, fix them, and look at how much prettier the document looks with all the capital letters right, the spaces, and then keep going on your story. Your stories are wonderful.